Both Ray and Christy hope that by sharing their terrifying story, they can help the FBI catch this monster before he strikes again.
A terrifying attempted abduction in Elyria, Ohio. A man reaches into a 10-year-old girl's window and tries to pull her out by her leg.
He said if she says anything, he's gonna kill the whole family.
But the brave girl fights and frees herself from the monster, who slips away into the snowy night.
We collected a myriad of evidence from that scene, interviewing neighbors, hundreds of people, and eventually our case grew cold.
3 months later, and 30 miles away in Cleveland, 4:30 a.m., as the family sleeps, their 6-year-old vanishes into thin air. Family and friends look for the young girl for hours before contacting her mom, Christy Jones, at work.
What was your gut feeling?
That it couldn't happen. I'm like, she's at one of her friend's house. Well, maybe she's at the house hiding, because it's just not like her.
But Christy's daughter was nowhere to be found. An intense search was on.
Hour by hour that went by, do you remember what you felt?
It was pure hell.
Then, 9:30 p.m., after 17 long hours, a miracle. The missing girl suddenly appears. A house porch light is a beacon for the 6-year-old.
A light was on, so she knocked on the door. And when those individuals opened the front door, they knew exactly who she was because she had been missing all day. Her picture was everywhere, and they brought her in and called the police.
At the hospital, Christy and her daughter shared a tearful reunion.
I can only imagine what joy both you and your little girl felt at seeing each other again.
It was breathtaking. My daughter didn't realize that she was missed. She goes, "You missed me?" And then I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I missed you." And she jumped into my arms and she started crying.
The 6-year-old was alive, but didn't come out of the nightmare unscathed.
Was she hurt at all?
She was gone for 17 hours with a man, so she was
Sexually?
She was hurt. She was hurt.
And investigators learned more about her frightening ordeal.
So this is the house where a 6-year-old was abducted.
That little girl was taken off of her couch in the middle of the night by a man who kept her for 17 hours. He eventually dropped her off about 2 miles from her home. She had indicated that he had driven a long way. He made her stay in the floorboard and not look. So she has no idea for any kind of landmarks. We just don't know where he took her.
The 6-year-old described the man as having a square face and recalled seeing animals on the walls where she was held. Cops wondered if she was describing wallpaper or a mural. Time was of the essence. Local police and the FBI were on the case. Investigators talked with a neighbor who saw a man in his yard the day of the abduction. He asked what the man was doing, and he replied, waiting to be picked up. With the neighbor's help, a composite sketch was made. The FBI pulled video surveillance from around the neighborhood. And after watching hours and hours of footage, what they saw shocked them. The man who the FBI believed took the 6-year-old had been stalking the girl's family and scouting her house for a week before the abduction.
A week prior to the abduction, we have video surveillance that shows our individual of interest parking in that spot down there. He gets out, he walks down this alleyway, 3:30 in the morning. It's obvious that he is looking for a particular place. He pulls out what we believe is a phone, and he's looking at the phone and messing with it.
The very next day, the suspect is seen again. Same alley near the house, this time even more brazen.
We believe that he goes to the residence of our eventual victim.
So right here.
Right here, looking through a window that night, and he may have gotten spooked. Someone may have seen him, because on the video surveillance, we see him running down the street. So he runs and he gets in his vehicle.
6 days later, the day of the abduction, the suspect is seen driving in the girl's neighborhood. Then, almost 3 hours later, the suspect is seen walking towards the 6-year-old's house.
We believe the unknown abductor came in through the side windows on the other side of the house, took her off of the couch in the front room there, and then came out of the front door.
11 minutes later, in disturbingly plain view, actual video of the abductor carrying his young victim away from the safety of her home and family.
We have video surveillance that shows him coming across the street with her in his arms. He's not running, he's not walking, he's quickly moving, and he goes down this, basically somebody's driveway. We believe went between this garage and the fence.
It's just amazing that no one saw anything, that he was able to walk out of the girl's front door and escape with her.
Right.
Within days, a bombshell in the case.
This is a stranger who stalks his victims, waiting for the opportunity to kidnap them.
Forensic evidence, DNA, determined the man who attempted to abduct the 10-year-old through the window in Elyria was the same man who took the 6-year-old in Cleveland.
In both cases, there was forensic evidence that was collected, and through lab analysis, we were able to link them together.
These two events were definitely committed by the same individual.
And the FBI believes their suspect may be responsible for more abductions in nearby communities.
Is this the right field you want us to look at?
Though they haven't been forensically linked yet.
There are a couple of cases that are very similar. A man enters the house in the middle of the night, actually scoops a little girl out of her bed. He had her for some time and he left her.
The fact that we have an individual on the loose that may have perpetrated this act many times is of great concern.
Now, investigators need the public's help.
That car is very specific.
The man was seen driving a 2002 or 2003 Chevy Malibu with a mismatched quarter panel and a rear spoiler.
It's probably likely that he has gotten rid of that car, but that doesn't mean that a neighbor, a coworker, a friend knew somebody that had that car. That car is the best chance we have to identify this man.
And something else that is noteworthy about the suspect.
He walks with a specific gait. He has kind of a different walk that we ask people to pay attention to.
For the young victims and their families, they now wait with both fear and anger until this monster is caught.
How has it changed your family?
I'm just as equally as scared as she is. It definitely takes away a sense of security when someone does that in your own home. There's always what if he comes back.
I just don't understand how we have footage of him and no one came forward. You know it's him and they still haven't turned him in.
And investigators are desperate to get this man off the streets.
He's dangerous and he needs to be caught. He is somebody's neighbor. He is somebody's family member. He is somebody that's out there that somebody knows. We just need them to call and tell us.